Another day in paradise, Maya Rodriguez muttered, leaning back in her hover chair and propping her boots on the monitoring console. The holographic displays flickered with life signs from across the sanctuary's vast expanse, each blip representing another alien creature under her care. More like another day of preventing interstellar apex predators from having each other for breakfast. The comm link crackled. "Chief Rodriguez, we've got a situation in Sector 7." The panicked voice of her newest intern, Tommy Chen, pierced through her moment of peace. Maya sighed dramatically, swinging her legs off the console. "Define situation, Tommy. Did the Martian sand pythons escape their enclosure again? Because I swear, if I have to round up those glorified garden hoses one more time." "And no, Mom. It's a Kronthak, and it's hurt." The coffee mug slipped from Maya's fingers, shattering against the floor. A Kronthak, the most feared predator from Proxima b, a creature that made Earth's ancient T-Rex look like a household pet. "I'm on my way. Don't approach it, don't make eye contact, and whatever you do, don't." "Holy shit, it's looking at me." Don't panic," Maya finished, already sprinting toward the transport pad. The familiar tingle of molecular displacement washed over her as she materialized in Sector 7. The scene before her was exactly as chaotic as she'd expected. Tommy stood frozen, staring up at 12 tons of muscled terror. The Kronthak towered 20 feet tall, its iridescent scales shifting between deep purple and midnight black. 3 pairs of crimson eyes fixed on the terrified intern, while a 4th pair swiveled to track Maya's arrival. "Tommy," Maya called out softly, "remember your training. Back away slowly, and for the love of Earth, stop trembling. You're practically ringing the dinner bell." The Kronthak's massive head swung toward her voice, and that's when Maya spotted the problem: a deep gash along its left flank, oozing fluorescent blue blood. The beast let out a low rumble that made the ground vibrate beneath her feet. "Oh, you poor baby," Maya cooed, earning a bewildered look from Tommy. "What? Just because it could swallow me whole doesn't mean it's not suffering." She reached slowly into her med kit, pulling out a universal translator. The device hummed to life, beginning to decode the subsonic frequencies in the creature's growls. "This is why they sent you to us, isn't it?" Maya spoke directly to the Kronthak, noting how its posterior eyes widened slightly. "The Proximan authorities couldn't handle you, so they shipped you to the crazy humans who talk to monsters like they're overgrown puppies." The translator picked up a mix of pain and, "Was that amusement?" Maya grinned. The stories were true. Even the most dangerous creatures in the galaxy couldn't resist human charm. Or maybe they just appreciated someone crazy enough to treat them like equals. "Tommy, get me the large-scale tissue regenerator. And stop hiding behind that tree. It's basically a toothpick to our friend here." Maya took a careful step forward, maintaining eye contact with the beast's primary set of eyes. "That's right, big guy. The humans are here to help. We're basically the galaxy's crazy pet whisperers, and you just walked into the best care center in 12 systems." The Kronthak lowered its massive head, bringing one set of eyes level with Maya. In that moment, she saw what every other species in the galaxy failed to understand. Even the mightiest predators could recognize compassion when they saw it. "Welcome to Earth's Interstellar Wildlife Sanctuary," Maya whispered, "where we treat every creature like family, even the ones that could eat us for breakfast." Maya was just finishing up with the Kronthak's treatment when the sanctuary's atmospheric sensors screamed to life. Something big was entering Earth's atmosphere, and it wasn't following any approved flight paths. "Please don't be space pirates," Maya groaned, checking the readings. "I hate space pirates. They're always so dramatic with their surrender or die speeches. At least normal poachers just try to shoot you." The massive form that burst through the cloud cover was neither pirate nor poacher. The creature's wingspan stretched longer than a passenger shuttle, its membrane like wings rippling with bioluminescent patterns. A Voidwing, one of the rarest beings in known space, creatures that spent their lives sailing between stars, feeding on solar energy and cosmic radiation. "Tommy, get containment teams to holding Bay 4. Blake," Maya barked into her comm link. "Where are you?" "Right behind you, Boss." Blake Thompson's smooth voice came from directly over her shoulder, making her jump. "Sweet mother of wear a bell or something." Maya clutched her chest, glaring at her assistant ranger. Blake just grinned, his dark skin gleaming with sweat from whatever crisis he'd just finished handling. "How do you move so quietly in those ridiculous boots?" "Former galactic marine," he shrugged. "Old habits die hard. Besides, those ridiculous boots have saved my life more times than I can count. Now, what's got you shouting my name like the sanctuary's on fire?" The Voidwing's descent answered his question, its massive form blocking out the sun as it spiraled toward them. As it got closer, Maya's breath caught in her throat. The creature's normally pristine wings were peppered with what looked like energy weapon burns. "Oh no," Blake's casual demeanor vanished. "Those are Xerxian pulse rifle marks, high-end poacher gear." "Since when are you an expert on illegal weapons?" Maya asked, already prepping the medical bay. "Since I spent 3 years chasing down the scumbags who use them," Blake replied grimly. "The real question is, what do they want with a Voidwing? They're protected in every system." The answer became clear as the magnificent creature landed, its wings creating gusts that sent equipment flying. Clutched against its chest, protected by a translucent membrane, was a clutch of eggs, each one pulsed with its own inner light, like captured nebulae. "Voidwing eggs," Maya breathed. "They're worth more than this entire sanctuary," Blake finished. "Each one contains enough pure stellar energy to power a small city for a year. The black market value is astronomical." The Voidwing mother's eyes, all 12 of them arranged in a spiral pattern, fixed on Maya with an intensity that made her previous encounter with the Kronthak seem tame. A series of whistles and clicks emanated from its beak-like mouth. "She's asking for sanctuary," Tommy translated, his hands flying over the universal translator's controls. "Says she's been running for 3 days, trying to lose them." "Them who?" Maya asked, but the answer came in the form of a high-pitched whine cutting through the air. 3 sleek ships appeared on the horizon, their hulls painted with the same light-absorbing black used by professional hunters. "Poachers," Blake spat the word like a curse. "And not your average opportunists either. That's a grade A hunting fleet. Military tech, probably ex-special forces gone mercenary." Maya watched as the Voidwing mother curled more tightly around her eggs, her wings trembling with exhaustion. The creature had crossed who knew how many light years, wounded and carrying precious cargo, to reach Earth's sanctuary. There was only one possible response. "Tommy, get those eggs to the secure hatching facility. Blake, power up the sanctuary's defense grid. And somebody wake up that Kronthak we just treated. I have a feeling we're going to need all the help we can get." "You're not seriously considering fighting off professional poachers?" Tommy squeaked. Maya's grin turned predatory. "Kid, there's something these off-world hunters need to learn about Earth's sanctuary. We don't just protect the cute and cuddly, we protect them all. Even if they're star-sailing space leviathans with more eyes than a spider convention." The poacher ships drew closer, weapons charging. "Besides," Maya added, checking the charge on her own non-lethal deterrent gear, "I've always wanted to see how Earth's crazy wildlife rangers stack up against the galaxy's most dangerous hunters." Blake chuckled darkly. "This should be fun." The first shot from the poacher's ship sizzled past Maya's head, close enough to make her hair stand on end. "Really?" she shouted at the sky. "Not even a courtesy surrender your specimen message? That's just rude." Blake was already in motion, his ex-military training showing as he deployed a series of shield generators around the wounded Voidwing mother. "These guys aren't here to talk, boss. Their Black Star Brigade shoot first, shoot some more, then maybe ask questions if anyone's still breathing." Charming Maya ducked behind a containment barrier, watching Tommy sprint toward the hatching facility with the precious eggs. The Voidwing mother tried to follow but stumbled, her wounds finally taking their toll. "No, sweetie, stay down. Trust us with your babies. I promise we're better at this than we look." The poacher ships landed in a triangle formation, disgorging a dozen figures in matte black combat suits. Their leader, distinguished by red stripes on his armor, stepped forward and finally spoke through an amplified channel. "This is your only warning. The specimen and its clutch are now property of the Black Star Brigade. Interfere, and we'll add your corpses to our collection." Property? Maya's voice dripped with venom. She stood up, ignoring Blake's frantic gesturing to stay in cover. "That specimen has a consciousness rating higher than your entire crew combined. And don't even get me started on your complete disregard for the Galactic Wildlife Protection Act of 2157. A pause. Then is she seriously quoting regulations at us? One of the poachers asked. Hey, I didn't spend 4 years getting my xenozoology degree to ignore proper procedure, Maya shot back. Now, as Chief Ranger of Earth's Interstellar Wildlife Sanctuary, I'm giving you one warning: leave, or find out why Earth is the only planet crazy enough to successfully run a sanctuary for the galaxy's most dangerous creatures. The poacher's response came in the form of synchronized weapon fire, but Maya was ready. She slammed her hand down on a control panel, and suddenly the ground beneath the poacher's feet wasn't so solid anymore. Fun fact about Earth's sanctuary, Maya called out as the poachers struggled in the containment gel that had swallowed them up to their knees. We designed our defense systems based on actual predator behaviors. That stuff you're stuck in? Inspired by spider silk. The real question is, what's a spider's next move after trapping its prey? Right on cue. The recently treated Kronthak emerged from the tree line, all 8 eyes gleaming with predatory interest. The poacher's leader actually squeaked a sound Maya would treasure forever. Don't worry, he won't eat you, Maya assured them cheerfully. Probably. We did just patch him up, and I'd hate for him to pull his stitches. Blake, how's Mama doing? Blake was carefully applying regenerative foam to the Voidwing's wounds, his movements slow and deliberate. She's starting to stabilize, but she's worried about the eggs. Her brainwave patterns are spiking every time she looks toward the hatching facility. Maya approached the massive creature, placing a gentle hand on its shimmering wing membrane. Hey there, beautiful. I know you're scared, but you picked Earth for a reason, didn't you? You knew about us, about how we handle things here. The Voidwing's spiral of eyes blinked in sequence, and a soft trilling sound emerged from its beak. The universal translator rendered it as Earth. Only place. Where small protect big. Where prey. Shelter predator. That's right, Maya smiled, stroking the iridescent scales. Size doesn't matter here. Neither does how many teeth you have or whether you could accidentally step on us. Every life is precious. Every parent deserves to see their children grow up. A commotion from the trapped poachers drew their attention. The leader had managed to activate some sort of energy field, beginning to dissolve the containment gel. This is impossible, he snarled. You're just primitive humans with outdated tech. How are you winning? See, that's your problem, Blake called out, casually adjusting the shield generators. You think this is about technology or strength, but that's not why creatures like her come to us. He nodded toward the Voidwing, who was now humming contentedly as Maya continued her treatment. They come to us because we're the only ones crazy enough to look at something that could swallow us whole and say, "Hey, you bo, you poor thing. Let me help." They come because somehow, against all logic, humanity has become the galaxy's designated crazy pet person. Maya grinned as Tommy's voice came through the comm link, confirming the eggs were secure and beginning to stabilize. Now then, who wants to surrender peacefully? And who wants to find out what other Earth creatures we've made friends with? The sound of weapons powering down was music to her ears. With the poachers temporarily contained, Maya returned her attention to the Voidwing mother. The massive creature had curled into what looked like a protective spiral, her wings creating a shimmering dome of bioluminescence. The energy patterns in her wings, Blake observed, scanning with his handheld analyzer. They're changing, almost like she's trying to tell us something. Maya finished. She'd seen this before, 2 years ago with a wounded stellar serpent. Quick, kill the translator. Sometimes technology just gets in the way. You want to turn off our only means of communication with a stressed-out space leviathan? Tommy asked incredulously. The same space leviathan that could accidentally crush us while shifting position. Maya rolled her eyes. Remember that Jovian cloud whale that everyone said was untamable? The one that now lets school kids ride in its slipstream during field trips. Yeah, but that was different, Tommy protested. You just sort of hummed at it. Sang, Maya corrected. Specifically, I matched its resonant frequency. Every creature in the universe communicates somehow. Sometimes you just have to. She tilted her head, studying the pulsing patterns in the Voidwing's wings. Think outside the translator. Maya stepped closer to the Voidwing, raising her hands to mirror the creature's wing positions. The bioluminescent patterns shifted, rippling like aurora borealis. She adjusted her stance, trying to match the rhythm. "You know what this reminds me of," Blake mused, watching the interaction. "That time with the crystal hive queen from Rigel VII. Everyone said her species was purely telepathic, until you figured out they communicated through light polarization." "My favorite was still the Martian tunnel worm," Tommy chimed in, warming to the discussion. "The one that was supposedly aggressive toward all humanoid life forms. Turns out it just wanted someone to scratch that one spot under its mandibles that it couldn't reach." The Voidwing's patterns suddenly synchronized with Maya's movements, creating a breathtaking display of synchronized light. Through the shimmer, Maya noticed something odd about the wounds on the creature's wings. These aren't random attack patterns, she realized. The poachers were hurting her, driving her specifically toward Earth. But why? A harsh laugh from the contained poachers interrupted her thoughts. Their leader, despite being stuck in containment gel, managed to look smugly superior. "You really don't know what you're protecting, do you?" Enlightened US Blake suggested, his hand resting casually on his stun baton. "Those aren't normal Voidwing eggs," the poacher sneered. "That clutch was fertilized in the corona of a dying star. Do you have any idea how much power they contain? Each one is a supernova in embryonic form." Maya's eyes widened as the Voidwing's patterns suddenly became clear. The creature wasn't just communicating, she was showing them a star map. "That's why you came to us," she breathed. "You knew the eggs would be too unstable for normal containment. You needed." The Voidwing trilled softly, her patterns forming a familiar shape Earth's solar system. Of course, Blake snapped his fingers. Earth's sanctuary is the only facility in known space that regularly handles stellar-class entities. Our containment systems are built to withstand anything from quantum anomalies to pocket dimensions. And more importantly, Maya added, finally matching the Voidwing's pattern perfectly, creating a harmonious light show that made even the hardened poachers gasp. "We're the only ones who would see past the danger to protect the babies themselves." The Voidwing's eyes spiraled in what Maya had come to recognize as their equivalent of a smile. Through their shared luminescence, Maya felt rather than heard the creature's gratitude. "Boss," Tommy called from the hatching facility. "The eggs, they're starting to pulse and sync with you too." Maya laughed. "Well, what do you know? Turns out the universal language isn't math or music or even light patterns. It's just," she glanced at the trapped poachers, "being willing to risk everything to protect someone else's children." The Voidwing's wing gently curled around Maya, creating a protective shelter of living light. In that moment, surrounded by stellar energy and alien gratitude, Maya understood why Earth had become the galaxy's safest haven for dangerous creatures. It wasn't about technology or strength or even expertise. It was about being crazy enough to try, compassionate enough to care, and stubborn enough to never give you the peace of the moment shattered as a high-pitched whine filled the air. The poacher's leader grinned, revealing teeth that gleamed with metallic implants. "You really should have searched us more thoroughly." A burst of energy pulsed from his armor, dissolving the containment gel completely. Before Maya could react, the other poachers were free too, their armor shifting and reconfiguring into something far more menacing. Omega-class battlesuits, Blake swore, pushing Maya behind him. "Those are illegal in 16 systems. 17, actually, the leader corrected, his suit growing into a hulking exoskeleton. "We picked these up from a lovely arms dealer in the Crab Nebula. Cost us half a year's profits, but worth every credit for dealing with. Protective hosts." Maya watched in horror as the poachers' weapons merged with their suits, creating an arsenal that would make a small army jealous. But something else caught her attention: the way the Voidwing was moving her wings, creating subtle patterns that reminded her of. "Blake," she whispered, "remember what Earth swallows do when threatened. They rear up and—" Oh, a slow smile spread across his face. "They're about to learn about Earth's wildlife the hard way, aren't they?" "Tommy," Maya shouted. "Initiate Protocol Cobra." The young intern's voice crackled over the comm link. "But that's only for extreme. Oh, sweet mercy, those are Omega suits. Initiating Protocol Cobra." The sanctuary's defense grid hummed to life, but not in the way the poachers expected. Instead of weapon systems activating, hidden speakers emerged from the ground, emitting a specific frequency that Maya had discovered by accident while studying Earth snake behavior. The Voidwing, who had been watching Maya's subtle hand signals, suddenly reared up to her full height. Her wings spread wide, creating the same intimidating display as a cobra's hood. The poachers hesitated, their suits' targeting systems confused by the multiple light patterns now dancing across the creature's wings. Fun fact about Voidwings, Maya announced cheerfully, backing away. They're actually distant cousins of Earth's sea snakes. And you know what sea snakes are really good at. On cue, the Voidwing's bioluminescent patterns shifted into a hypnotic spiral. 3 of the poachers stumbled, their neural interfaces overwhelmed by the display. Playing with light, Blake finished, already moving. His marine training kicked in as he disabled 2 poachers before they could even turn around. And you know what else? Those fancy suits of yours? They've got one big weakness. The leader fired his weapon, but the energy blast went wide as the Voidwing's patterns intensified. What? What are you doing to our targeting systems? Nothing, Maya grinned. That's all her. See, after she showed me that star map, I realized something. Voidwings don't just absorb stellar energy, they can redirect it. And those neural interfaces you're using to control your suits, they're pretty sensitive to unexpected energy signatures. Blake had worked his way through half the poacher team, his movements a brutal dance of efficiency, like, say, the energy signature of a creature that swims through solar flares for fun. The leader snarled, switching to manual targeting. Then we'll do this the old-fashioned way. About that, Maya's grin turned predatory. Remember our friend from earlier? The ground shook with familiar footsteps. The Kronthak emerged from where it had been waiting, looking significantly less injured and a lot more irritated. Behind it came 3 more of the sanctuary's residents, a pair of Martian tunnel worms, and what looked like a very annoyed Jovian cloud whale hovering just above the tree line. See, that's the thing about Earth's sanctuary, Blake said, casually disarming another poacher. We don't just protect the animals, we give them a community. The leader raised his weapon, desperation clear in his voice. Stay back. These suits can handle anything you throw at us. Maya shrugged. Maybe. But can they handle everything? Because I've got a very protective Voidwing mother, a recently healed and slightly grumpy Kronthak, 2 worms who really don't like loud noises, and a cloud whale who just had her afternoon nap interrupted. The Voidwing's wings pulsed one final time, creating a cascade of energy that sent the poachers' suits into complete shutdown. They toppled like deactivated robots, leaving their wearers trapped inside. Also, Maya added as Blake efficiently cuffed the now helpless poachers, I really need to thank you guys. Thank us, the leader spat from inside his frozen suit. Oh yes. Thanks to your little attack, we've just proven that Earth's sanctuary can handle high-level security threats. Do you know what that means? She patted the Voidwing's wing fondly. We're about to get approved for handling even more dangerous species, the really fun ones. The look of horror on the poachers' faces was almost as satisfying as the Voidwing's victory trill. Almost with the poachers subdued, Maya watched in amazement as something unprecedented began to unfold. The Voidwing, instead of retreating to the hatching facility to guard her eggs, began a complex series of movements. Her wings painted the air with swirling patterns of light, telling a story that needed no translation. The Kronthak moved first, its massive form settling beside the Voidwing like an honor guard. The Martian tunnel worms coiled protectively around the group, their crystalline scales reflecting the bioluminescent display. Above, the Jovian cloud whale descended just enough to create a living canopy of translucent flesh and bioelectric pulses. I don't believe it, Tommy whispered, returning from the hatching facility. They're forming a creche. A what now? Blake asked, still keeping one eye on the contained poachers. A communal nursery, Maya explained, her voice thick with emotion. Something that's never been documented between different species in the wild. They're offering to help protect the eggs. The Voidwing's pattern shifted, and Maya felt tears spring to her eyes as she recognized the stellar formation being displayed, the birth of a solar system, the ultimate act of creation and protection. You know, Maya said, stepping forward to place her hand against the Voidwing's warm scales, when we started this sanctuary, everyone said we were crazy. Humans, trying to protect creatures that could obliterate us without noticing? It was suicide, they said. The Voidwing lowered her head, bringing her spiral of eyes level with Maya. One by one, each eye blinked in sequence, creating a ripple effect that matched her wing patterns perfectly. But they didn't understand, Maya continued. Size doesn't determine worth. Power doesn't define right from wrong. Sometimes the greatest strength lies in being willing to trust, to protect, to care even when logic says you shouldn't. The gathered creatures moved closer, creating a living shield around both the humans and the Voidwing. It was a picture that would soon spread across the galaxy, the most dangerous beings in known space, choosing to trust the small, fragile humans who had offered them sanctuary. Welcome to the family, Maya whispered to the Voidwing. All of you. After all, that's what Earth's sanctuary really is, one big, crazy, impossibly wonderful family. The Voidwing's response was a symphony of light and color that needed no translation. Thank you for being crazy enough to care. 3 days after the poacher incident, Maya sat cross-legged on the observation deck, watching the most incredible hatching she'd ever witnessed. The Voidwing eggs pulsed with increasing intensity, each one a miniature star about to go supernova. Galactic authorities just picked up our friends in the fancy suits, Blake announced, joining her at the window. You should have seen their faces when they realized they were being charged under both poaching laws and the Stellar Entity Protection Act. That's about 3 lifetimes in a quantum containment facility. Shh, Tommy waved frantically. It's starting. The first egg split with a crack that sounded like distant thunder. A tendril of pure stellar energy reached out, testing the air. The containment field they'd designed held steady, allowing the baby Voidwing to emerge safely into its new world. Now that's something you don't see every day, Maya breathed as the hatchling spread its wings for the first time, already showing hints of its mother's bioluminescent patterns. A creature born from a star, taking its first flight in Earth's atmosphere. One by one, the eggs hatched, each baby Voidwing adding its own light to the spectacular display. The mother Voidwing crooned, her wings creating patterns that taught her children how to stabilize their stellar energy. Message from headquarters, Tommy announced, checking his comm. The footage of our incident has gone viral across 17 systems. We're trending under Crazy Humans Do It Again and Earth, where apex predators go for daycare. Maya laughed. Any negative feedback? Just the usual. Humans are insane, they're going to get themselves killed, and my personal favorite, what's next? A nursery for black holes. Don't give her ideas, Blake groaned. The baby Voidwings were already learning to fly, their tiny forms casting rainbow shadows as they darted around their mother. The other sanctuary residents had gathered to watch the Kronthak looking oddly gentle, the tunnel worms vibrating with excitement, and the cloud whale creating gentle air currents to help steady the wobbly flyers. You know what Maya said, watching Earth's most dangerous residents celebrate new life together. Let them call us crazy. Because sometimes being crazy enough to care, crazy enough to protect, crazy enough to love, that's exactly what the galaxy needs. Above them, the Voidwing family danced among the clouds, their light show visible from orbit, a testament to the day Earth became known as the place where even star-born creatures trusted humans to guard their young.